Horizon Chance CG Reacts, and this is Classic Summarize Oedipus Reacts by the channel Sarcastic production. I'm branching out. Greek literature really is a fascinating cesspool of ridiculousness. Our boy Oedipus even got a mental condition named after me, yeah. Okay, wait a minute, this is the first Greek video she did. We're going to the really start of the things. I love all the things she does, but obviously Greek mythology is my favorite thing because how ridiculous it is and how she summarizes is always fun. So yeah, let's watch this one. Remember people, if you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out the React Sunday, there's a link in the description with all of my videos. Not everything has playlists, so check out the link. Check out the cast with the different playlists like Sarcastic production reaction with all of my OSP reaction videos in it. If you missed any of them, check that out, I guess. Check out the playlist too, like history, internet historians, CGP Great Tier Zoo. And yeah, let's watch this one.
Of all the names we associate with Greek literature, the most famous belong to the great heroes. Odysseus, known for taking 10 years to sail 500 nautical miles. Hercules, for great feats of strength like killing his helpless family. Achilles, for having the dumbest weakness since the aliens in Signs.
Every time I mention that, Hercules kill his family, there's somebody in the comment always goes, but Hera messed with his mind. Yeah, sure, yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Hera messed with his mind. It's not like he was already very rageful or something.
And of course, who can forget Oedipus Rex, the poor bastard with the entirety of Freudian psychology to serve as his memorial. And since there is nothing I like better than Freudian psychology, today we explore Sophocles' classic tragedy, Oedipus the King. Oedipus, king of Thebes, has had a pretty fascinating life so far. For starters, he was abandoned as a baby, then taken by a servant and delivered to the childless king and queen of Corinth, who raised baby Oedipus as their own. Unfortunately, as Oedipus grew up, he caught wind of a rumor that he wasn't precisely the king and queen's real son, which was rather disheartening for the enterprising young prince. In order to clear the whole mess up, he did what all Greek heroes do on their off days and consulted the oracle at Delphi. The oracle, however, didn't really tell him what he wanted to.
Okay. So instead of going to, his father's and his mother, he just went to the oracle because I think he already didn't trust them because they'll probably lie to me. I should go to the oracle.
Here. Well, in fact, rather than answering his question, the oracle instead told young Oedipus that it was his destiny to kill his own father and then marry his mother. Now, if there's one thing we've learned from Greek...
Really? Every time oracles of Delphi, something they okay, kill your parents, kill your unborn child. When your kid's born, your kid is going to kill you, so kill the kid before a kid even grows up. Look, I know this is all mythology and shit, but there is real evidence of oracles of Delphi giving fucked up advice in the Greek time, and people actually did fucked up things based on that.
Tragedies, it's that oracles are never wrong, just on occasion misleading as hell. So Oedipus is like, geez, no way, and immediately runs away from Corinth in an effort to escape his disgusting fate. However, as we know, the king and queen of Corinth aren't his real parents, so really this can only go downhill from here. Spoiler alert, that's exactly what it does. Now, while Oedipus is on the road out from Corinth, he runs into a procession of some sort that quite rudely shoves him out of the way. So of course, like any sane man, he succumbs to ancient Greek road rage and proceeds to slaughter the entire procession without ever learning their identities. This being a time when casual murder was not only overlooked but often actively encouraged, nobody really seems to care, except for the single survivor who's guaranteed not to factor into this story in any way. Spoiler.
Just hold me aside, I'm gonna kill all of you. Is this descendant from Heracles or something? Because rage feels really similar. Damn, that's effed up.
Warning, he factors into the story. So Oedipus continues his wanderings and comes to the great city of seven-gated Thebes, not to be confused with 100-gated Thebes, one-time capital of Egypt. And that's not the only thing it has in common.
Wait a minute, what's with that, man? There's a Thebes in Greek, obviously the oldest one, I guess. Then there's Thebes in Egypt too. 100-gate as one. What? There is some history between those two things because it can't be coincidence. Both are named same.
With Egypt. In fact, the most prominent similarity that Oedipus notices is that this Thebes also has a giant but ugly sphinx in front of it. The only difference there is that this sphinx is both alive and hungry. So the sphinx is all like, none may pass my gate unless they answer my riddle. And Oedipus is all like, challenge accepted. So the sphinx asks him her now classic riddle, what walks on 4 legs in the morning, 2 at lunch, and 3 in the evening? And Oedipus, clearly a man before his time, answers with the first Google search result and says, it's man. The sphinx, who is up until this point accustomed to being the brightest person in the room, can't take the pressure of being outsmarted and hurls herself off the nearest cliff. It's kind of like what college freshmen at Ivy Leagues do if the cliff were made of booze. Anyway, the citizens of
But don't sphinx have wings too?
Thebes are mega grateful to Oedipus for getting rid of their kitty problem, and Jocasta, the queen of Thebes, offers to marry him, making him the king. This she can do because her previous husband, King Laius, has unfortunately been mysteriously murdered while out of town, along with almost his entire entourage. Observant listeners may note that this event bears a certain resemblance to prior actions on Oedipus's part. These observant viewers
No way! Wait a minute, Oedipus killed that, lots of people while running away from his home or whatever. Those are the same people, king and his people. Where he's going and marrying the queen now. That is so effed up, man. Oh, our previous king died mysteriously with his all people while he was outside of the town. So I guess queen is free. You can marry her, I guess. And he's like, out of town. It can't be somebody that I murdered. Just days or months ago. It can't be that.
To prove themselves to be far more observant than Oedipus, who immediately accepts the cushy kingship job and Jocasta's hand in marriage, no questions asked. Now here's where the story starts to get interesting, and technically where it really begins. So Oedipus is now the king of Thebes, which seems like it'd be great, but he's hardly been king 10 minutes before the kingdom starts collapsing around him. His city is immediately stricken with an unspecified
What is this? Why everybody wearing masks like that?
plague that devastates the population. So he sends Jocasta's brother Creon to the oracle at Delphi to find out what can be done about it. Spoiler warning, this is neither the first nor the last time an oracle will be consulted in this play. Anyway, when Creon gets back, he reports that the oracle has said that the sickness is being caused by a pollution on the land in the form of the man who murdered King Laius. The plague will be cured when they banish whoever that happens to be. Oedipus is all for this plan, but there's just one problem. Nobody knows who killed the old king. Well, except for us. Spoiler warning, by the way. See, the citizens of Thebes would have investigated his murder, but before they could, that pesky sphinx showed up and trapped them all in the city. Hey, hold on. I thought the city was called Seven-Gated Thebes. Why didn't they just leave through one of the other 6 gates? Whatever. Guess they must have not liked the old
Yeah, the all gates are under construction, I guess. Some repair or something.
king that much. Anyway, so Oedipus starts going all detective on this case's ass. He is determined to bring this criminal to justice. And again, his first order of business is consulting the hell out of an oracle. Public service announcement. Consulting an oracle is not good detective work, folks. It's a good way to get really confused and murder your family members, though.
Seriously.
Spoiler warning. So, Oedipus talks to this blind dude, Tiresias, who's a seer/freelance oracle.
That is so effed up story, right? I mean, this guy who was basically found by somebody, this kid, brought to the king and queen. Then he realized that, okay, I might not be the real son. So he runs to the Delphi to ask. Then Delphi says, you're going to murder your king and murder your father and marry your mother. And he just like panics and runs away, kills people around the way. Then goes to the Thebes, where the queen like, would you want to marry me? My previous husband died because him and his people were, I guess, brutally killed somewhere else. And the guy's like, oh, that can't be those people. All right, I'll marry you. And now he's trying to find the killer of the king, which is basically him. And he's determined to find him.
Luckily for them, happened to be in the neighborhood. So Oedipus is like, tell me who killed the old king. And Tiresias is like, okay, man, you really don't want me to tell you that. And Oedipus is like, what? Yes, I do. That's why I asked you. Tiresias is like, if you think this is a good idea, you're blinder than I am. And Oedipus is like, tell me, damn it, did Creon put you up to this? And Tiresias is like, Christ, fine. The pollution on this land is you. By which I mean you killed the old king. Hope you're happy. Oedipus, like any sane, rational ruler wouldn't do, absolutely refuses to believe Tiresias, instead believing that Creon is trying to spread evil rumors about him in order to steal his throne. How did he come to that conclusion, you might ask? Oedipus and Creon get into a big argument about who killed the king, who's telling the truth, what the hell is happening in general, all that good stuff. In the end, Jocasta busts in like, ladies, stop fighting, you're both pretty, and sends them to their respective rooms. Oedipus is like, his big mean oracle said I killed the king and it really hurt my feelings. And Jocasta's like, oracles? Ha! Oracles are full of crap. Why, this one time an oracle came to Laius' court and told him, get this, that he'd be murdered by his own son. Well, we fixed that problem up real good. As soon as the kid was born, we stapled his ankles together and abandoned him on some mountain somewhere. So that sure as hell never wound up happening.
Ah, see this, what the fuck? Well, hold up there. King and Queen of Thebes, Oracle told them that their kid is going to kill the king. So they stapled the ankle of the kid and left him to die on a mountain. Oedipus was found on the mountain. And somebody just brought that to some king and queen of some other place. Oracle told Oedipus that he's supposed to kill his father, real father, and marry his mother. Wait a minute, so Thebes king and queen is Oedipus's parents. Right now he married to his mother. What the fuck? Oh, this is just going downhill fast.
Ding, 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 ding. listening, a big shout out to all you observant viewers who are gradually putting the pieces together. So Oedipus is like, yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's not like I could have killed Laius anyway. Why, the only thing I ever killed was a fancy-looking procession of people while on the road to Thebes, and there's no way that... Oh... shit. So yeah, for those in the audience who haven't already...
I understand this is some kind of a play, right? This footage is from some kind of a play where people are wearing masks and shit. But I love how she's saying this sarcastic way of, commentary. I'm seeing their faces. I'm imagining them saying the same shit. It's funny as hell.
Piece this particular fustercluck together, a messenger shows up out of nowhere to conveniently summarize the rest of the plot for you. And to add contrivance to contrivance, the messenger is accompanied also by the sole survivor of Oedipus's attack on King Laius's procession. And he's only there because that same survivor was actually the servant who took baby Oedipus out from the city in the first place and delivered him to this very messenger. What are the odds? Who cares? Let's watch Oedipus's life get ruined. Many years ago, Laius and Jocasta sent a servant off with their infant son to abandon him on some barren mountain somewhere, but the servant instead felt pity for the baby and handed him off to a messenger, the very messenger telling the story, in fact, who brought the child to Corinth to be raised by the king and queen like a higher maintenance Clark Kent. And that same child was none other than our hero, Oedipus Rex, who, in summation, unknowingly killed his dad and banged his mom. This news is upsetting for all involved. Jocasta immediately kills herself, and Oedipus has a world-class freakout that culminates in him stabbing his own eyes out and running off into the night. And really, if we were in his situation, would any of us have done anything different? Have fun pondering that.
You know what, before I'm like, oh, what the hell, Oedipus, you like just Heracles, you just, killed random people out of rage and shit like that. After what the king and queen of Thebes did and, leaving literally newborn baby on a mountain because some oracle said something. Fuck him. They got what they deserved, I guess. But Oedipus, yeah, that's just fucked up for him, right? I mean, then again, he did kill random people out of rage, so yeah. Damn, this was something. This was a thinker. I like this story, but overall, because, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I started to figure shit out in the middle of the way, and that was really fucked up, and I realized, wait a minute, he just married his own mother. Oh, shit.
From the Bible to the
seriously, Oedipus wrecked.
There's one theme that we find right along. Of all ideals they hate.
Yeah, seriously though, seriously. In the end, when all said and done, he was just a victim, right? First of all, just a baby that left out to die. Then he found out about certain king and queen. Then he just heard a rumor that he might not be the real son. So then he went to the oracle. He wouldn't have done that shit if the king and queen of Thebes didn't just abandon him. But that's just fucked up.
Hail as good, the most sublime is motherhood. There was a man, though, who it seems once carried this ideal to extremes. He loved his mother and she loved him, and yet his story is rather grim.
Wait a minute, is this song from the Oedipus Rex things? Because then the lyrics are really fucked up. He had no way of knowing what he was getting himself into. It's not his fault that basic logic eluded him for so long. He did kill random people. I mean, doesn't matter if at the time it wasn't frowned upon. Killing people is killing people. People argue lots of things, like you have to understand there were different times. The people didn't have the same standard as we have today or whatever. There's a difference between things. Certain things is timeless, right? Like murdering random people. That's just fucked up in any time. Doesn't matter which time you're talking about. So if it was frowned upon at the time or not, doesn't matter. It's still fucked up. So he did kill random people.
There once lived a man named Oedipus Rex. You may have heard about his odd...
But see, oracles of Delphi was right? Or did they set up things? Like they are the one who told the parents to kill their unborn child so they won't kill them. That same child got adopted, and then they knew that this is the same child probably, and then they said that your future is you're going to kill your father and marry your mother. That made him ran away, kill all the random people. So did oracles really predict something, or they orchestrated all this? That is some confusing thing right there. Sometimes it's just running into the same person twice in one day.
Complex. His name appears in Freud's index.
Sometimes killing your dad and marrying your mom. Fate is a fickle
His rivals
mistress.
used to say quite a bit
Or just a
that
jerk.
As a monarch, he was most unfit, but still in all, they had to admit that he loved his mother.
See, this song is by Tom Lehrer, and
Yes,
he's
he
funnier
loved
than
his
me in
mother
every way.
like no other. His daughter was his sister, and his son was his brother. One thing on which you can depend is he sure knew who a boy's best friend is. When he found what he had done, he tore his eyes out one by one. A tragic end to a loyal son who loved his mother.
This song, man. Oh man, this is fucked up. This is also something much more concise summary than mine, with less details though.
So be sweet and kind to mother, now and then have a chat. Buy her candy or some flowers or a brand new hat. But maybe you had better let it go at that, or you may find yourself with a quite complex, and you may end up like Oedipus. I'd rather marry a duck-billed platypus.
This song is funny as hell. Alright people, that was classic summarized Oedipus Rex. This was ridiculous, right? This was so good. This had layers to it that I didn't expect it when I started watching this. But yeah. Alright people, if you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out the reaction, there's a link in the description. Check out the cast, please check out the end cards, and I'll see you next time.